Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and productive day. And in the news this morning, 28-year-old taxi operator charged with larceny of motor vehicle. A 28-year-old taxi operator was charged with larceny of a motor vehicle following the theft of a motor car from Cornfield District in Gordontown, St. Andrew, between Thursday, June 20 and Friday, June 21. He is Shamar Tyrrell of Lower Mall Road, Kingston 11. Reports from the Content Spring Police are that about 5 p.m. on Thursday, June 20, a man securely locked up his vehicle in his driveway before retiring to bed. The man reportedly received a notification about 1 a.m. advising him that his vehicle was driving in the Mannings Hill Road area of St. Andrew. The vehicle was intercepted and found in Tyrrell's possession. Tyrrell was taken into custody and subsequently charged following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. A court date is being arranged for him. Tropical wave affecting weather conditions across the island. A tropical wave is moving across Jamaica, bringing with it showers that are expected to affect the entire island. According to the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, as the tropical wave moves westward across Jamaica, individuals should expect periods of showers and thunderstorms. This should continue into Thursday morning, especially across eastern and south central parishes. Additionally, windy conditions are expected to persist through to Friday due to a low-level jet stream. The Met Service's 3-day forecast indicates that partly cloudy conditions and widely scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms are expected across western parishes and hilly areas. Windy conditions are expected across southern parishes. Curfew imposed in sections of Hanover. A 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of Lucy and the Green Island in Hanover. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, June 26, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. Friday, June 28. In Lucy, the boundaries of the curfew are north from the rear of the Johnsontown community to the seaside, running along the coastal line parallel to the main road in an easterly direction to the Elgintown Sports Complex. East from the Elgintown Sports Complex, traveling in a southerly direction to a point at the rear of Q District. South from the rear of Q District, traveling in a westerly direction to the rear of the Brissett community. West from the rear of the Brissett community, traveling in a northerly direction to the rear of the Johnsontown community to the seaside location. In Green Island, the boundaries of the curfew are north at Orange Bay Square, along the highway to the small bridge beside Lobster Smokehouse. East along an imaginary line from the small bridge beside the Lobster Smokehouse to Marchtown Square. South from Marchtown Road along an imaginary line through Dam Road District to the entrance of Dam Road. West from the entrance to Dam Road District along the main road to Orange Bay Square. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. 50 rounds of ammunition seized during traffic stop in Mobay, 2 men arrested. 2 men were taken into custody following the seizure of 50 rounds of ammunition during a traffic stop along Orange Street in Montego Bay, St. James on Tuesday. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigations. Reports from the Montego Bay Police are that at about 5 p.m., a team of officers from the Beat Officers Patrol Division were on duty in the town center when they signaled the driver of a Nissan AD motorcar to stop after he was observed committing a breach of the Road Traffic Act. The driver complied. According to the police, the passenger was seen acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. As a result, the team searched the motorcar and found 55.56 cartridges in a paper bag on the floor of the passenger side of the vehicle. The men were detained. Spanish Town Taxi Association upset about the seizure of PPVs. President of the Spanish Town Taxi Association, Aaron Mattis, is demanding an audience with Transport Minister Darrell Vaz and the Transport Authority to address the matters concerning the seizure of public passenger vehicles. Mr. Mattis argues that public transport operators who are in breach of certain provisions under the Road Traffic Act but are compliant with others should not have their vehicles seized for several weeks. He says the costs to operators are exorbitant, especially in light of the temporary closure of the Lakes Pen car pound in St. Catherine. He adds that a withdrawal of service is on the table, but is a last resort if the concerns are not addressed.
I am advocating that the Transport Authority and the powers that be put laws in place that a seizing of a PPV vehicle is a no-no. Cannot take away a man's car from listed into town, charge him $45,000 for the wrecking company. Then the first day at Transport Authority, I think it's $6,000. And every other day is $1,500. You keep the car for 1 month, and then after that, he has to find that $45,000, pay the wrecking fee, pay the charge at court, and pay the pound fee at Transport Authority. And this is a car that is duly registered, licensed and insured, and hold the vehicle for 1 month. So what are we saying then? That persons must stay home and dead for uncle? I have been saying to the operators, let's meet and have dialogue before there is a total lockdown. When I hear that the pound was being removed, I say, find somewhere in Portmore. Now you take a man car from St. Catherine, bring it to Kingston, and have him now paying wrecking fee from one parish to the next parish, because Transport Authority don't have a pound. And this man is charged double to go into town for the car that he sees. One, I said there are all lot of land that the Transport Authority could have maybe lease and have a pound close enough. Two, we have been saying, if country becomes a fee that you only charge them and don't wreck the vehicle, there wouldn't be so many seasons.
Holness urged to reveal statutory declarations to fight fake news. Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, Daniel Archer, is suggesting that Prime Minister Andrew Holness make public his 2021 and 2022 statutory declarations to combat misinformation, disinformation, fake news, or alternative facts that may be circulating concerning why it has not been certified by the Integrity Commission. The IC, Jamaica's anti-corruption watchdog, says it was not able to certify the Prime Minister's statutory declarations for at least 2 years. Section 56(1) of the Integrity Commission Act imposes a gag on the Commission and bars it from disclosing information on statutory declarations, government contracts, and the license. Any such information can only be made public when a report is tabled in Parliament. Section 53 also imposes a restriction on disclosure of information. The IC has consistently called for the gag order to be repealed or revised, arguing that international best practices in anti-corruption, as well as good governance, accountability, and transparency in public affairs, demanded that restrictions upon the sharing of public interest information should be revisited. And with the submission of the IC's 6th annual report to Parliament on Wednesday, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, says she hopes that the Commission's annual report touches on the matter of the illicit enrichment of the 6 parliamentarians and the other public officials, so the public could have a sense of the status of the investigation, given the high public interest in the matter. She told the news on Wednesday that the same should apply to the Prime Minister's statutory declarations. You hear a kind of pass in the book where the Prime Minister is responding to journalists in very abstract terms, but you will hear nothing from the Integrity Commission, she said. Last November, the Prime Minister indicated that he was in the process of responding to a second set of questions from the IC concerning his statutory declarations. During a post-cabinet press briefing, Holness said, "They have written to me asking various questions. I have provided answers, and they have written to me again, and I am in the process of providing those answers." However, the Prime Minister has not provided an update on his interactions with the anti-corruption body. Speaking with the news on Wednesday, Archer responded to concerns that lawmakers being probed for illicit enrichment could be on the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act and the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. She said that given the propensity for parliamentarians to protect themselves rather than the institution of Parliament, there is a grave concern. Archer said her concerns were heightened since it is now apparent that parliamentarians seem to refuse to support and implement impeachment legislation. She argued that both the Code of Conduct and impeachment legislation have been acknowledged as important in ensuring that only persons of the highest integrity serve in Parliament. In the absence of both, and in the face of the revelation of the probe of 6 lawmakers for possible illicit enrichment, Archer noted that there would be concern as to whether lawmakers would make policy decisions in the interest of the people of Jamaica or in the interest of themselves, their colleagues and/or associates. Archer argued that a morally tenable position for any parliamentarian who wants to be seen as respecting the rule of law in Jamaica would be to disclose that they are being questioned by the IC about their declarations. If they know that they are being investigated and have not told the people they serve, when the smoke clears, we can conclude that these members of Parliament lack integrity and do not belong in Parliament, she declared. However, Jackson has placed on the table a different position as it relates to lawmakers who might be members of the 2 committees that review matters relating to the IC. She said the JFJ was not calling for the 6 parliamentarians being probed for illicit enrichment to be named. However, she said if lawmakers being investigated for illicit enrichment currently sit on the Integrity Oversight Committee and the Joint Select Committee reviewing the IC law, both committees should be disbanded and the other members named to avoid unintentional disclosure. And therefore, if persons were being investigated because they would be aware of that status without unintentionally naming themselves, they would be able to step aside. Jackson also echoed JFJ's call for the IC to be entrenched in the Constitution to guard against attempts by anyone who is being investigated by the anti-corruption body who may take steps to undermine the Commission. She said the investigation of illicit enrichment was a very serious matter. Jackson indicated that when such a probe is triggered, it means that there is a mismatch between the income and assets of the persons being probed. On Wednesday, the IC reported that it submitted its 2023-2024 annual report to Parliament for tabling. The IC said it anticipates that its annual report will be tabled in Parliament as soon as possible. It said once the report is tabled, the IC will publish it on its website. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.